Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Tuesday, August 3rd. We are 10 days away from the start of the Premier League season. In this episode, a monumental day for U.S. soccer as the men win their second final over their rival Mexico in 6 weeks. The women's team proves that pride does indeed come before the fall. But first, Mike, Harry Kane is holding out for a move to Manchester City. What's going to happen next?
Who knows? It's a question of, it's going to be a staring contest now. But so you said we're 10 days out from the Premier League season. I'm very excited. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I wake up. You know what was weird this weekend? I kind of had this emptiness in my life where I was like, I want it back. I want it back. It's 10 a.m. I want it back. And Monday morning comes, I wake up, I roll over, I look at my phone, and it is exploding with Tottenham fans basically eating their own head on Twitter. Effectively, it was the fight scene from Anchorman in real time. It was a bloodbath. And all because Harry Kane decided that he wouldn't show up for training today when he was supposed to report after his vacation, his holiday, after the Euros, 10 days before the Premier League season, a little bit late as it is. He's a no-show. Now here comes all of this, how dare he, this indignance from Spurs fans. Now understand, he had what he understood to be an under-the-table handshake deal with Daniel Levy, Tottenham's chairman, last season. He said, look, Harry, give me one more go. We've got Mourinho. We've got a full season. Let's give it another shot. He, who has been at the club since he's 11 years old, lives, breathes, and bleeds Tottenham, Lily White, he was like, okay, that's fair. Now, the other thing you have to understand is that he
just had his best all-round season.
Yes, but he signed a 6-year contract in 2018, which means he's got 3 years left on it. His brother is his agent, okay? The difference, it's not good. I've met him. He's a nice guy. He's a fucking boob.
I thought he was that big fat. Oh, no, that's Gareth Bale's agent. The big fat.
Yeah, no, he's just like tall, skinny, like whatever. And in fact, I saw him play, and he sucks. And I was like, wow, it's hilarious that he got literally none of the actual football talent in the family. Like, it all went to Harry. There was like a little 5v5 tournament or whatever. And I'm like, this dude stinks. It's hilarious. But the difference is that there are two big fish that Manchester City are in for this summer. One of them being Harry Kane. The other, of course, being Jack Grealish. It sounds like they're relatively close with Grealish. The reason why they're relatively close to Grealish is because he has a clause in his contract that says for 100 million euros or pounds, what I'm not sure, he can leave, right? Mm-hmm. He can go. And Harry Kane doesn't have that. He's got 3 years left on his deal. Spurs have said all summer long, Fabio Paratici and Daniel Levy less so. He's trying to stay out of the limelight, but they have both said, yeah, I mean, he's going to honor his contract. Like, I have no problem telling him that. And so this is really the only recourse that Kane feels like he has to force a move away that, like, again, he felt like he was promised. I'm torn because I love him more than I love some of my family members. I want to see him go.
Yeah.
I want to see him go. I want to see him flourish and you know, get all the accolades from a team perspective that he desires. He almost got it with England. It was just, again, like always the bridesmaid, never the bride sort of thing. And I don't know what happens next because, like we said, there's such a few amount of days until the season starts. Oh, by the way, Laurent, do you know who Tottenham plays to open the season?
Manchester City.
That'd be correct. Manchester City at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
But you had good luck in the early attacks last season. Well, 2 seasons.
But that's not the point. They could win 4-0.
30 shots and gave up 1 goal.
They could win 4-0, and the whole stadium, which finally will be full again, is going to riot. It's going to get nuts. All right. So it's this holy shit. Pot is stirring, and it's going to really, really pop off, I think. I'm very concerned.
So here's the thing with the gentleman's agreement. The greatest player of all time ever in the history of soccer, and it's not close, Lionel Messi had the same gentleman's agreement and literally went public with it. It was like, these people promised me and fuck me. I just want everyone to know that. when last season, before the season started, he was going to go to City. He literally wrote, that was the post. These people promised me I could leave. They're using a technicality on the timing of things and fucked me and didn't let me leave. And the chairman got fired for that, to be fair.
Yep. Yeah. So listen,
because the structure of the team is different. So
you just gave me wait, hold on. You gave me the biggest idea.
If Messi can get fucked, Harry Kane's getting fucked.
But if Harry Kane gets Daniel Levy fired, the statue's going up tomorrow, right? Like that's it. He score as many goals against Arsenal as you want.
Be careful what you wish for. Is he in like Brian Cashman range except without any winning?
Yeah, without any winning. But now he's got Paratici in. The problem isn't that what he's doing now or what he's going to do next. It's what he's done the last 4 years, right? He did this to Pochettino well before he did it to Kane.
It's the screw.
And now, so some of the arguments I see on Twitter is like, well, in the Champions League run, he was injured and he didn't play most of that. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not sustainable. Like that.
Okay.
They were
yeah.
lucky,
right.
Right. It was great, and no one's saying that Spurs didn't play hard and fight, but they were falling apart in every other game. They seemed to conjure the fucking football gods whenever they played. It was incredible. Like Lucas Moura could finish all of a sudden. It was like this lunatic alien who's playing amazing.
That's exactly it. Like, the idea that like there's this already like deep-seated coping mechanism. Like people are on like already on stage 6 of like this grief stage, right? So they're sitting there saying, "Oh well, we don't need him. He's always hurt. He's injury prone. He's not that great."
Fucking crazy.
All of the things that they spent like the last basically 8 years
now
being the only ones who would ever defend him through thick and thin, through anything. When how many times have I complained on this show about the media giving him shit or whatever?
Football fans are an emotional lot. Like a guy scores the game-winning goal, the second he says, "I might want to leave," he's dead to them, right? So this segues really well into Grealish, which it has been insane for the Villa fans. They're just like on cuckoo land. Like, he's evil, City are evil, the world is out to get us. Why is this happening? And it's all but done, basically. It's basically Grealish.
Well, and they've already replaced him.
I'm ready to go.
They've already replaced him with some good players, but like,
really
but the thing players. I want to dig into that culture piece more because I think that there's a lot there that's really interesting because Harry Kane's the best player Tottenham has ever had, and it's Sheringham maybe fine, but like whatever, it's certainly in my lifetime.
That's okay. Yeah,
sure, right, okay, fine, but so like if you had a Mount Rushmore, his ugly face is on it, right? So
he's definitely on it. He does need hair lip surgery.
The interesting thing about this is that they, at the drop of a hat, they all turn on him and stick with the club. Now, the club has been not necessarily Tottenham Hotspur, but the powers that be at the club. As I mentioned, Daniel Levy is the reason we're here. The reason that Pochettino's not still here, the reason that he doesn't have a capable backup, so that when he does get hurt, nobody cares and he doesn't get rushed back right away, which is something that wouldn't happen in Manchester City, by the way.
Never. We have too many players. It's kind of sad.
Exactly. But so the cultural thing where let's say, okay, actually this is a good parallel. Speaking of Brian Cashman, the Derek Jeter negotiations back in 2012, 2011, I don't remember exactly. That went public. What happened? Everybody went, Brian Cashman, if I see you in the street, I'm going to knock you the fuck out, right? Like, whereas they're like, no,
but the difference
if Jeter leaves, I'm leaving with him.
That was year 18 versus year 7.
But even more so, even more to the point, Jeter's old as shit, and I'm still leaving with him because I hate you for doing this to him. And whereas for a second, not even for a second, Tottenham fans didn't even entertain that idea. There was some rational thinking that I saw eventually, but everybody who was like, I backed you, I said I defended you forever. Now you turn around and do this to me. It's not to you.
Actually, you're touching on something I wanted to talk about. I just didn't have a good way to get to it, but this really brings up something that is a longer term trend that got triggered to me from something else, but I think we should talk about it. And it's the idea of following player versus following club. Some sports are very team-centric. Some sports are more player-centric. And soccer, I think, is a little bit in the middle, but it's far more club-centric. You follow your team. Like The players come and go. There's a really respectful, I'm happy you were here and did well. The player always respects the team and goes, I really enjoyed the time here. You're like, it is a vessel which players come through and leave, and a very small group of players actually come to represent the club. Weird players too, like Mark Noble for West Ham. He's not their best player ever, but he represents West Ham no matter what. Then like Paolo Di Canio randomly was there for 3 years. He represents West Ham. So they come through as servants and sort of live with the club, and you go. Henderson, Steve Gerrard is almost inseparable from Liverpool to the point that when he goes to the Premier League, he is going to have to manage a team that the Liverpool faithful say is okay somehow. Right. It's going to have to be, a team you brought up from the Championship, or like Newcastle is harmless.
Right. Or like Crystal Palace.
It can never be Everton. It can never be Man United. It can never be City. Well, no, it can't be City. Not now.
No, it can't be City. It can't be City.
Right, but it does have that. And one of the things that was coming up with the NBA, I think one of the reasons that the NBA, that I like to talk about, you less so, is actually in trouble in a weird way. The players have transcended their teams. They're just disconnected from them. And you follow the player. The player is the vessel. There's probably Ronaldo has that, right? He's one player who has it. Like when he left Real Madrid and went to Juventus, he literally brought 5 million Instagram followers to Juventus.
So wait, one thing I'll say is that as Americans grew into Premier League fandom, Clint Dempsey was one of the reasons I became a Tottenham supporter. When Clint Dempsey left, I was sitting in the middle of the room like, oh, he's gone now. I'm still here, I guess. So there's a lot of that where
but it has a glue to it. Somehow you get stuck in.
Yes, but what I'm saying is a lot of the entryway for American sports fans into the Premier League was through a player. Was Donovan going to Everton, right? Was Dempsey, was
fans,
Howard,
American guys.
Fulham, right? Exactly. So
there were a lot of fans, Fulham.
If you're listening to the show and you do not have a Premier League affiliation yet, find the ethos of a club that catches you. Do not do it for a player, because like I said, he's going to be gone in 3 years and you're going to be sitting there like, do I really want to keep doing this?
I did it for Mario Balotelli and he left me.
That's right. Well, yeah, and then you got 47 million trophies, so you're fine. But
I still love Mario Balotelli.
Yeah.
He's a black Italian.
Why always me? He's not
so
Italian.
Fucking happy.
He's not Italian.
That dude is Italian. He's adopted. His parents are Italian. He has 2 white parents that are Italian.
Yeah, okay. He's Italian like I'm
He
African.
Goes to his fat mama. He's as Italian as you are American.
No, he's as Italian as I am Italian. That's exactly what it is. Okay. But so it's really, that was the thing I was marveling at this morning. People who would go to bat for this guy, no matter what. And by the way, right, we're not talking about a guy who's a questionable character or whatever.
No,
there's numerous examples where he is the most utmost perfect citizen and representative of your club.
Yeah. You want him.
And he's the England captain. And so now his reputation has been tarnished over one training session. That's so weird to me. Now, England is overreactive inherently in their sports media
because they don't have anything to.
They don't have anything else to talk about. We've discussed this till we were blue in the face.
They don't even get interviews with players. It's literally there's nothing.
Right, and so that's the thing is that the silence piece is the part where everybody's just they're all spinning their tires and going nuts. Yeah. And so that was the thing that I took away from today. In fact, it was nice to numb myself from the potential stab wound of Harry Kane leaving my club with this weird sort of cultural difference, right? But yeah, I don't know.
City, if a guy is dissentful, he's gone and no one even thinks about it. He's just
right. And so now
Leroy Sané has been vaporized. I don't think about him at all.
Right. And so let's dive into what might happen next now. He's going to apparently get a hefty fine.
Thing, right? First, City is going to sign Grealish.
Yes.
First. That's going to happen.
For about £100 million, roughly?
A big number. Yeah. A big number. It'll be the highest fee they ever spend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Levy is playing with fire. City could just be like, forget it. We got Grealish. We're good.
And so one of the
That
points
could
I saw,
happen.
which I agree
And
with,
then they could turn the screws on Kane.
well, they already have. Which if you don't think that the nation state was behind this move, if you think Harry Kane's idiot brother came up with this, you're out of your mind. But the thing that's important you got to remember is Harry Kane has a value piece, right? Like he has a value number. If Grealish is X, Kane is Y. I don't care what it is, but whatever Spurs believe him to be worth, they shouldn't have to sell him for less, right? The media shouldn't be like, "Oh, let him go," because you know what?
No,
the same reason
you got to get paid. Get the money.
Get the money.
I understand Spurs' position. They have him under contract. They don't have to let him go.
Right.
They just don't.
So,
if they keep him and he just mails it in, it's gonna go to the end. Like there's not 10 days to go for this to be over. There's 40.
40. Yep. And right. And so that's kind of where I struggle with. I don't think he's the kind of guy who will pout like Eriksson sort of did towards the end.
He'll go play.
He will play.
But
he loves the club too much.
Do you think that he'll throw those elbows when he's backing into people that he likes to
do? No.
All
right, look.
He'll take those kicks in the foot. He'll just be like, my back hurts.
There is one other thing that could turn the tide on this, and it is finally getting. I mean, you've seen Spurs making some minor activity. Apparently, they're signing Christian Romero from Atalanta for £50 million. What I'm saying, and I'm just allow my delusion for a moment, okay?
Danny Ings is waiting for you.
If they are able to say, "Hey, look, Harry, we've got these pieces in place. We're being ambitious now. All the things listen. Is it too short, too little, too late? Absolutely. Yes. But that's the only thing that they can do still. If they come down from on high and they're like, well, how dare you? You're under contract and do all this shit. It's just going to continue to turn the screws, right? Yeah. But they need to kind of take kid gloves with this for a second and go, listen, here's one of two things is going to happen. You are worth 150 million pounds, whatever the number is. I'm making that up, right? You're worth X. If City give us X or close to X, you can go. And we love you and we will miss you. But just so you know, we're trying to make Tottenham Hotspur a better football club, regardless of whether you're here or not, frankly. And we want you to be part of the equation. We want you to be part of the solution. And here's what we're doing. Here's what we brought in Fabio Paratici to do. Here's what he's already done. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying that, again, it is too little too late. But those are the two approaches.
Here's the thing. If Kane goes and Adama Traore shows up and they put him at the 9 and he just hoof balls to him, it could be fun.
That would be fun. I love Traore. I love him. But
he's awesome.
Look, and there's another thing that needs to be said.
Can you see him, Son, and Mora as a 3 with Son in the middle playing the Kane role?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be fun.
I see the future. That's it. You know what? I'm happy now. That's what you do. Sonny drops deep and plays the Kane role. He can do it.
I don't know that he can do it.
And then you let Traore and Crazy Mora run like lunatics.
I don't know that Sonny's that guy. I think Sonny's a lunatic runner.
Likes to finish. He likes to
finish. The other thing that we've seen two teams do this now. Leicester City.
Sonny going through Burnley. Let me just go. What a moment.
Oh, it was unbelievable. He ran through 9 guys?
It was amazing.
But
I want football.
Realistically, 3. I'm blanking on the third one. I know you'll help me out with this. Leicester City sells Mahrez, gets all these players in. They're fine. Liverpool puts an empire on Coutinho's back, essentially. They sell Coutinho. They get Van Dijk, Salah, and Mane. In addition to other piece, and Alisson.
But they got Mane before. They got them for
whatever.
They've had some misses. Like, to be fair, Liverpool have had misses. Like
Naby Keita.
Oxlade-Chamberlain was like 30 million.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is they got 150 million for Coutinho from Barcelona, and they put it into action, and they built the best team in Europe. Frankly,
for sure,
they won the Premier League and yeah. So
just not back to back, right? They one and then the other. Yeah,
doesn't matter.
They did.
The point I'm making is there is a way forward for Spurs. This is not all doom and gloom. Now, with that said, it is 10 days before the season. We're going to get waxed by Manchester City, whether Kane is on which side of the field or playing at all.
There's a path, but you're not in the state that Liverpool's in. Like Liverpool had Klopp in place. They already had Mane, and he didn't even want Coutinho, and they moved him, and they didn't have a sucker in Barcelona to move him.
I'm not saying that we're going to turn around and be 2019 Liverpool. What I'm saying is that there's a blueprint, right? Leicester did it.
The other blueprint is Bale for the 7 clowns. Well, clownish.
Yeah, I know. I know. And that the other thing that scares me is that like clubs, Wolves, for example, or whoever else, Atalanta with the Christian Romero signing, they know that this financial windfall is coming, right? So their price, if this player was 25 million, now he's 35 million. So
that's the piece that bothers me. If Levy knew and was planning to sell, they would have bought players already.
Yeah, no, they're not planning to sell.
No,
they're not.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't there. He was focused on the Euros. They're like, we're going to respect that. And then he fucked off to going on vacation and whatever, which he deserves. I'm not saying that. They didn't actually have a conversation with the guy before he left for the Euros, which that's when that needed to happen. And that's when he went on that run in the knockout round. And that should have been Manchester City on high alert. Here comes a 200 million bid or whatever, right? For Harry Kane. Let's go into that part of it now, because now I want to get your side on this as the Manchester City fan. You're getting Grealish for 100 million or whatever it is, big number.
We're getting Grealish.
Okay. I'm not saying you don't listen. You need a striker more than you need Jack Grealish. That I think we agree on that, right?
Yes, but
right. Well, okay, but hold on. Follow me on this. Whatever the number is, and it's going to be bigger than Grealish to get Kane, right? It's going to be a huge number. You'd have to put up with Levy's bullshit in negotiations. If Sheikh Mansour comes in with 140, Levy's going to turn his nose up to it like a prick, and it's like he's going to laugh at him.
City are very good. They will walk. They'll just be like, nope, thanks. You need us.
Right.
We gave you a reasonable offer.
Exactly.
This is our number. Fuck off. We don't need Kane.
And so
we'll
if you're going to
literally sign Danny Ings and be fine and play half the game without a fucking striker.
But if you're going to spend 140, let's say it's 140 million.
That would be a reasonable number.
It would be for Frank, which sounds so ridiculous to say out loud, but that actually is a reasonable number. Why aren't you going to get Erling Haaland?
That's my question. What are we doing?
Why the fuck? Why are you getting 28-year-old Harry Kane? Leave my guy alone.
This is what I've been saying the whole time.
I don't understand it. That part doesn't make any sense to me. And that part started gone. It's gotten really quiet on the Borussia Dortmund front, and I think I have an idea why. And I remember you telling me this, I think, early last season when we were doing one of our first episodes on the show when we were talking about Jadon Sancho, right? When Dortmund at the beginning of the summer said
they move one guy at a time.
Yes, but I remember what you were saying about it, and I think it was true and why United didn't get Sancho last year. They said, all right, he's going to cost 85 million. And United said, 60 million. They're like, no, 85 million. We're going to stop negotiating with you in 2 weeks. It's 85 million. 2 weeks later, United goes 70 million. They're like, dude, last chance, 85 million, not going to happen.
German. The number is 85.
Right.
That's it.
And so United finally goes, all right, two months later, though, all right, we'll give you 80. No, man. A, the number is still 85. And B, no. Now we're too busy. We got our season to go worry about. We got shit to do.
Talk to the player. We're cool. Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I think. Because
listen, their number is 175 and you don't hit 175, they'll just play.
But the thing is that this summer was so condensed because of the Euro, because of the late run in the schedule. And they're starting on time this year, right? So you've got all of those elements. The Germans are getting ready for their season. So earlier during the Euros, one of the stories that kind of got buried was that Abramovich sanctioned sell this guy, sell that guy, sell this guy. Let's raise 150 million and shoot it right over.
Here's the thing, though.
But that's gone quiet.
They have been selling players. They're just not big name players. But I want to say, if I look at the transfer list, and I'd have to go through it, and you went through Chelsea sales, they've already raised 50, 60 million on guys you don't know. Like this teenager is 5. This teenager's they're moving their nickels and dimes to get the dollar. They're like the kid who fucking empties out the piggy bank and they're counting the nickels. They're like, hey, I got $1 million. So they're readying it, and I think they would go for Haaland, but I don't think that Borussia doesn't want to move two guys at once. They usually do it one at a time. If you think
Right.
about Mario Götze, then Lewandowski, then they do it slowly. They don't want to kill their whole team. And I think they do. The players have an affinity for the club because they're very upfront, they're very honest and they do.
They don't have handshake deals.
Right, but if they do, they announce it. They're like in the middle of the season, Lewandowski is going to Bayern Munich, and he plays the rest of the season for for fucking Dortmund.
For Dortmund, yeah.
Fucking weird. I don't know how the hell they do that. Because once I've changed a job, then I know I'm leaving. I mail it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things we need to talk about. But I think first we have to talk about our friend, Mr. Joe, at Attitude of Gratitude.
Yeah.
We love him. He's our
Let's talk a little bit about financial planning with Manchester City, shall we?
If you are not Sheikh Mansour and you can't just buy whatever player you want, you can go see our friend Joe at Attitude of Gratitude. He really focuses on tactical things like getting your bills paid down and finding you money in real ways. He's got a great website. It's designed for conversion. I bet every single person who comes to this website signs up. I signed up the second I saw it because you can tell how much he cares about it. It's professional. It looks good. The guy's a father. He put the baby on there. What a fucking genius. I'm going to click contact right now.
That's a good, the baby is a good
Gratitude with our friend Joe. It goes right into scheduling a time with him, and it is wonderful. And we're going to come back in a minute and talk about our favorite thing, the U.S. women's national team. Okay, Mike, it's time. What do you got?
It is time. First of all, let me start with this. I was a former huge fan of the U.S. women's national team, including Megan Rapinoe in 2011 when she basically did the Donovan goal. Well, actually, Abby Wambach scored it, but like the Donovan goal in 2010.
I raised my hand. She's my favorite player on that team because she
Rapinoe
comes for the ball. She wants to do shit. Like even when she was bad in the Dutch game, she was the one doing shit. Her touch was bad. Every cross sucked. But she's got I don't care.
She's Mark Noble now.
No, but she's looking more and more like Mark Noble. She plays like a dude, right?
Sure.
Who wants the ball. She has a
stuck
very male spirit, a very aggressive, give me the fucking ball and get the fuck out of the way kind of spirit. I like that about her. It's partially why you don't like her because she's that way with her public
No.
opinions.
And that's the thing is that hold on. Listen, be whoever you fucking want to be. That's fine. But I don't have to like you. Yeah. But I loved that her game spoke to me. Right. And earlier in her career, 10 years ago, she was 25, 26 at that point. She was great. And let's be clear. She has been part of the greatest run in women's soccer history. It's not close. Yeah. But the arrogance, the aggressiveness and tenaciousness, if you will, of her game bled and kind of melded with the success that they were having as a team and her personally. And she became extremely arrogant and extremely, I guess, overpudged isn't the right word, but like just. It's just arrogant. And the point is that then that seeped back into her style of play. And not just her, but the team, right?
Wait, I didn't even know this, but as a national team player, and this, if you want to get into nerd stats, her per 90 is a goal and a goal or an assist per game for her career.
Well, sure, but I mean they have World Cup qualifying against Jamaica where they put up 14. Okay,
no, but this is
dude, I know.
Still really fucking hard.
It's really, really good. The point about this tournament, it's not this game. It's not the U.S. women's national team loses to Canada for the first time ever on a big stage, really. And by the way, good for Christine Sinclair for like a hot second. That poor girl was just basically
Was she even play that game? Did she even play?
I thought I saw that she was on the field. So I mean, whatever. She's on the staff if she's not part of the team. Right. But good for Team Canada, who has been the whipping boy in CONCACAF, or whipping girl, I suppose, for this juggernaut of the U.S. team. The trouble that we've found is, and we've seen it with the men's team a lot as well, is that the coaching is just not up to snuff. And we have athleticism out the ass. We are arguably the most athletic team in the world, but it's a struggle to get clinical, smart tactics, good technicians, either from a player perspective, coaching perspective.
Rapinoe is
We talked
one
about that.
who is a good technician.
She is a good technician.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Sinclair
there were a few. There were a few on this women's team, but they were getting older. Rapinoe's 36, I think, and couple that with two things: the changing of the guard, if you will, the shrinking of the gap between them and the field, from a pure talent perspective. So it was smaller, but now tactics, good coaching is basically making that gap irrelevant, because you've got the 1-2 punch of good coaching from the Netherlands or from Sweden or from England, and additionally shit coaching from the US, basically since Pia Sundhage left, which I believe was 2013, 2014 era. Whenever Jill Ellis came in, it really fell off a cliff.
It's also at the base level. Like, this is only anecdotal. I don't, watch girls soccer that much, but I have listened to Bill Simmons talk about his daughter, who's a travel soccer player, and it's enough. It's one anecdote. They still play kick and chase, and the clubs make money based on their winning record. And basically, the best girl, they kick the ball up to the field, and they win. And you watch the United States women's team; they kick the ball up the field.
I mean, that was
baby horse, and she gets it and scores goals. But the thing,
and before her, it was Wambach.
Right. The painful thing is, I can't tell you how many times I was watching a women's team when Kristen Press was playing. She has the fucking first touch of a woman with stone shoes on. Like, she would run past someone and then kick it 10 feet in front of her. And then you watch the Dutch are just like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, they're just getting in because they're just playing around them. Now, yes, the women can kick the ball up the field and run past people. They're literally heads and shoulders bigger, right? Mm-hmm. They would just throw people off the ball. It's pretty impressive. And that's what we've won by, because we have depth beyond depth. Like, I showed you that thing. We have 9 million girls under 18 playing. 9 million, compared more than the rest of the world combined.
No, I know.
Now, but we suck. We suck. It's unwatchable.
So, and let's be very clear about something. I don't want to be the one that says, "Oh, they finally lost for the first time in 5 years or whatever."
We said immediately.
Yeah, we were first guessing this team from the jump, saying, "Hey, there is a reckoning coming." And it showed up, right? It showed up the whole tournament. It wasn't just like, oh, they got upset by Canada. Frankly, they got their asses kicked by Sweden in the first game. They drew with Australia, I believe, who they're going to play in the bronze medal game.
That's the one with, they're going to lose that game.
So, okay, they get by the skin of their ass against the Netherlands, who outplayed them.
Penalty.
On a missed penalty, right? And fine, that happens. And listen, you need luck in these tournaments, and I get it.
Again, I want to have some takes. We called Vivian Miedema. She fucking scored 2 goals. And every time she touched the ball, we were petrified, because she had technical ability to touch and shoot with no backlift. There's no one on the U.S. team who can play in front of a back four with no space, swivel and score goals. None. Right. Zero.
Yep.
Everything is pace. Everything is over the top.
Yeah.
And the coach, I was just looking at Vladko Andonovski.
That's him.
Is a clown, basically.
Right.
He's a guy from the former Yugoslavia. Played in the U.S. a lot of indoor soccer. He's the coach of the Reign FC. So basically, he's Megan Rapinoe's chosen coach.
Exactly. And this is the point. I've said this on the show before, but there needs to be a purge, right? Whether I like Rapinoe or I hate her, it's time to go, right? It's time to go. Like, it's time to go for her. For Carly Lloyd, who was another champion, amazing athlete, amazing career. It's time to go, Carly. And it's not, like we said, depth on depth on depth. It's not like they'll miss these players, right? What they need to do is have something of a kind of a mega couple, like with Germany, when they had that, what was it, 2010, I believe. And they had that like kind of come to Jesus moment, like from the we need to totally redo things the way we are as an organization.
There's a whole book about it.
Right. And they won the next World Cup. Right. Do I think
changed everything that they do?
Do I think that the U.S. women's team, it's time to go, Robbie? Do I think that the women's team is going to suddenly pull a Trinidad and Tobago and miss the World Cup? Do I think they're going to No, of course not. They're going to walk into every competition.
They won't miss the World Cup ever.
Right. But they will struggle to compete with the best teams that are emerging. And over time, if they don't change anything, it will become basically a mirror image of the men's team, where they're just outclassed and outgunned, but they're stronger and faster.
Why does the United States have 350 million people? The largest, probably, it's the number one, I have a lack of a better word, middle class sport to play in the United States.
Yep.
Right? It's suburban. It's getting better. And we have had a reckoning. We missed the World Cup. They fucking cleaned house. Right?
Well, so the men's team already
fired.
did. But this is the version of a reckoning for the women's team, because they were just cruising along. It was effectively, I think it was Greece that beat the men's basketball team in 2004, and everybody turned their heads like, that's not supposed to happen. That happened 3 times.
They had the redeem team.
Right. So
in China, when everyone got their fucking shoe deals in 2008.
Right. We need a redeem team. And the important thing to notice is that it has nothing to do really with the players on the field. You're not going to lose Christian Press. You're not going to lose Alex Morgan. You're going to have Julie Hurts. Sure. Okay, they can stay, but again, it's the Rapinos, it's the other one that I said, Carly Lloyd. Thank you. So those, we need to continue to create.
Tobin Heath, they're fucking old.
Yeah, create competition from within, and in doing so, create competition in a way that hasn't been seen before from our team, which is playing with a style. They're together and whatever. And although actually they're not, because half of them are kneeling and half of them aren't. So there's actually some probably rifts in that locker room that probably exist.
Yeah, but that's fine. Well, I guess I didn't even realize.
But they always had that togetherness, right? Like they're always like, oh, we're all in it and we're all suing U.S. Soccer together, which by the way, they lost. But they need to have a stylistic reckoning and come to the middle and say, okay, we're going to do this differently from here on out. And to be clear, if that happens, they will win the next 5 tournaments. No problem.
Sure,
but what needs to happen is exactly that, because this is a moment where you go, this is good for the women's game overall that this happened, because the U.S. team basically has been skating by, as we've said painstakingly now, on just talent and talent alone, or athleticism, not even talent. Now they're being punched in the face. How do you respond?
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. I do think they'll be okay. And I think one of the things that, our lovely Facebook group, I always like to show, everyone made the point like, hey, you're beating a dead horse. I'm like, no, we're not beating a dead horse. It's because we fucking give a shit, right?
I was beating a dead horse.
It's our team, right? It's like, oh, I get it. You don't want them to win. No, it's not that we don't want them to win. We don't want them to repeat the mistakes and keep losing, right? It's this sort of style problem. It's are we selecting players for skill, or are we selecting players for fame? Are they pulling rank and saying, hey, I need this endorsement, and I need people to watch the U.S. American team because we've built out these characters, rather than, hey, this team as a unit is better. This is always the fight that happens with national teams, and it is hard. But look, Spain, they were like, hey, Ramos, Piqué, you guys got to go.
You're out.
You're out.
And they were penalty kicks away from what, the semifinal?
And they were awesome, right? They got beat because they don't have a striker, not because they didn't fucking outplay everyone.
And they're actually their striker that sucked actually did do something. He scored in that game.
But
the one thing, yeah, that he did. That's right. I forgot about that. One thing that I'm curious to see every year after an Olympic or World Cup year in the last roughly 10, because the U.S. team has either won or lost in the final, there has been a bump in NWSL interest, attendance, all of that. They sucked. I think they're going to miss that bump. Plus, I think the biggest loser in all this is that league.
The other thing, well, that's good, but it's all the Olympics have been just a fucking shambles.
Listen,
it's the wrong year. Everything's off. It's a mess. It's
as much as I want to sit there and say, "Oh, go woke, go broke," well, that bullshit. It's 12. It's 12 hours off, right? Like the game was on at 4 a.m. Eastern time this morning.
Yeah, it's not. It's really lend.
It's just not tenable, right?
And MSNBC has everything all over the place. It's people.
They've really fucked this up.
No, as much as we think that people cut cords and streams, the bulk of the people who would watch the Olympics once every 4 years, they're watching the Olympics at 9 p.m. on NBC with Mike Tirico hosting a show. They're not on Roku picking the fucking all the different sports they want to watch because they're just like, oh, look, judo, we're gonna win. No, they need to be programmed. They're dumb.
They need to be told. Listen,
this is what I want to watch.
Well, here's why I think the Olympics are kind of silly inherently, right? These are sports, quote unquote, mostly competitions that you don't know about or don't give a shit about for 3 years and 50 weeks. Right.
But it's the narrative. It makes a show. It's a story. It's a good show. It's a once every 4 years show, right? It would be
jingoism
awesome,
is what it is. You see how dumb that sounds?
You love jingoism. It's your favorite
That's my
thing
point.
In the whole world.
Is that all these people are like, oh, these white supremacists and blah blah blah. I'm like, what do you think the Olympics is? Anyway.
Yeah, it's like the way to show how supreme you are. Like, it's not a coincidence that the first World Cup in one of the early World Cups, Mussolini spent all the money on the soccer team to try and win because they were probably all on amphetamines. Hey, anyone remember 1936 Berlin? I do. I mean, well, everyone did it. Look, I'm even wearing a shirt. This doesn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks a little Third Reichy.
That was completely unintentional.
That looks a little Third Reichy, but that is our Nazi reference of the week. Now that we're doing video, we're gonna have to do.
I'm gonna have to.
You're going all the way up?
No, it was all the way up. I gotta undo it. Now it's
okay. Yeah, good. Now you're okay.
That's weird. It's like Reich.
Like your accent changes. Yeah, right. Like as you do a button, right? Like as the Reich. We're going to have to add graphics for season 2 now that we've got video, and one of them is going to be.
It's very Reichy.
Yeah, you should wear that. That should be your uniform for the show now.
My uniform. Very interesting.
Exactly. We're gonna get fancy graphics for season 2. It's going to be a lot of fun. But
we should touch on another American moment that went on that you were about to transition to, and I stepped on you, which is U.S. men's team, the original team. They beat Mexico in the Gold Cup in a hostile environment in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they deserved some credit. They fought. It was a shit game, but it was fun. It was a
lot of fun.
It was a B team from Mexico and a C team from the U.S.
No, it was almost their best 11.
A lot of guys I'd never heard of that I liked. I mean, Kellen Acosta was a real central defending midfield. He was like a shit N'Golo Kante. I mean,
I thought the same.
Really
I was going to go, well, because he was like sort of everywhere. And
I shit Fernandinho or something.
I was going to go like shit Højbjerg, but But yeah, because he was everywhere. But it was funny that there was so much athleticism on display and just so little actual footballing skill.
Hope he really tried. He really did.
He said, speaking of shit, he's just a shit Quinn Dempsey, right? So
I saw parallels everywhere. If Gyasi Zardes is not the fucking reincarnation of Danny Welbeck, I don't know who is.
I was going to say Josie Altidore.
No. He's not even that good. I mean,
right.
But what's Josie Altidore? He's a shit Danny Welbeck. They're all incarnations of Danny Welbeck.
Yeah,
but
that's
I did like one of the things that I'm getting better at over the years is like really appreciating something that teams do. Like Gyasi Zardes fucking runs all day. Like now I know why he signed. Like he goes into the box and defends, and then he comes all the way out and he makes the runs. You're like
for 120 minutes.
Yeah, he fucking runs. And Hoppy was, like you said, a shit Clint Dempsey. A lot of attitude, a lot of trying, a lot of shots over the bar. Very, very, very good. I thought the central midfielder I forget, Williams might have been his name. This black guy with a little bit of a cool beard. He was really good, getting stuck in. The defense for the United States was really good. We got lucky. There was some really bad Mexican finishing. Like there were at least 3 shin shots that were like, you know what? They would have been good finishes, but good strikers finished them.
This reminded me of again a shit version of Mourinho's Spurs from the U.S. early on because they had their opportunities. They hit the post, they missed one, but they basically bunkered, right, and they gave Mexico the game. But as the second half started to kind of as the second half, right, they more or less gave the game back, and it was interesting to see the United States. It was almost like the 5th round of Rocky IV with like, he can bleed, Rock, get him. And they were like, okay, they started growing confidence, grow back into the game all of a sudden.
And it was young players. It was the youngest U.S.
They were hungry. It was fun.
Team ever. And they ran and they ran. It was a performance that was shit. It was a performance low on quality, but it was a performance to be proud of. Like, it was good.
Certainly.
Like, it felt,
Yeah.
it was positive. There were moments. There was breathing. You were like giggling at how bad something, like, what the fuck is going on?
So through
like
all of
three passes through the midfield and the guy's on goal. You're like, what are you doing?
It wasn't Twellman. It was Stu Holden. Stu Holden and he's fine. Stu Holden and Alexi Lawless on the calls, right? Or Alexi Lawless. No, he was in the studio or whatever, right? And so between the two of them, through like the end of extra time and then like the couple of different stops, it was interesting. For they were freaking out. They like their patriotism and pride was exuding, right? This was not a statement win for the United States over Mexico. No. There will be players who were on that side who are in the World Cup roster, assuming we make it. They'll be depth players. They'll be role guys. But hold on. This was not a statement. It was like you said, it was a feel-good win. It was fun. It was great.
But it was a blooding in. Like, these are guys that, not being funny, there are guys who played yesterday. This is the greatest moment of their career. It won't get better than this.
Without question. And by the way, there's no shame in that. That's a fantastic peak. That's the top of CONCACAF.
And it's Berhalter taking his balls out and going, let me do what I do. He just bought himself a lot of goodwill. A lot of the Berhalter sucks. It's nepotism. Your brother's in charge. I read an article. Actually, I saw the snippet of an article that they basically called Berhalter a commissar who understood how to work within the party and now has gotten charge of the team. I was like, nice. He's a fucking apparatchik, and he's worked his way through the party and he's become friends with Stalin, and now he's running the grain ministry, and he's just moved up to run the railroad, which is the best job you can have.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
So
well done.
So
that's a Nazi and a Soviet reference this week, folks.
So
you guys are doing great.
So he did great. He worked the system. He got where he needed to go within the U.S. Now he's the coach. He has the most famous job you can have in the U.S.
Yeah, without question. And so the thing that I want to take away from this game is not a statement win. The valleys are rising for the U.S. men's national team. And what I mean by that is the depth is getting better. It was an MLS Slayton side, arguably our C team, but they still beat pretty close to the best 11 Mexico team. And like I said, the skill it's slowly and it's incremental, but it's getting better. What I'm curious about is if this gets Tata Martino sacked. What are your thoughts on that? No. He just lost twice to the U.S. in 6 weeks. Mexico doesn't take too kindly to that.
Yeah, but if they do that, they're stupid.
I didn't say they weren't stupid. That's not why my question was, right? So I'm curious if that happens, because the crazy game in Colorado 6 weeks ago, when you had Pulisic, you had all of the other stars who are going to be the water runners for these guys, these team, right? That was a statement win. That was hey, the new guard is here and we are ready to fight you for every inch in CONCACAF. And so that was one of those.
By the way, I have to step back 1 second. There was one player that I was extra proud of, James Sands. 1, comes up through NYCFC. 2, he's born and raised in New York. He's our only guy. So we have a New Yorker, 21 years old. Respect. He was great in defense. This was a really American team. It's kind of nice. They're not like foreign weirdo. He's barely an American. We grandfathered.
But those days are sort of over, though, right? Like
we've got our own guys. Yeah, we
haven't outsourced the Jermaine Joneses of the world anymore. The John Brookses, although he's still part of the team, I'm pretty sure. We're taking guys. We talked about this at length. We're taking guys. We're going overseas at 15, 16 years old, and we're coming back better than we could have ever been if we stayed on this soil. So
Kellen Acosta is American. He plays from Texas.
But he's in MLS, and he was for me fantastic. The man of the match. Miles Robinson was great. He had the winner, but he was everywhere. And the goalkeeper, whose name is escaping me, was very good.
Matt Turner.
Yes, Turner.
He was our man of the tournament because the United States got their ass handed to them in most games. Like, they could have lost 3 different times.
Yeah, including to
But they
Qatar,
won.
who was in it for some reason.
Well, they need, they got the World Cup. They got to get their guy.
Right, but I low-key wanted Qatar to win the Gold Cup. Like, oh, that makes sense. Fucking stupid. But no, I'm excited for the future of the U.S. team, not because of what happened last night. I enjoyed watching Mexico lose last night, but it's for the idea that the depth is getting slightly better. And I'm okay with that because I don't expect any of these guys to be big pieces of a World Cup caliber team, but you're going to need something out of somebody on that team. So
yeah,
I feel good about Acosta. I feel good about Robinson.
They're battle tested. It's guys that in the middle of the Premier League season and you have you're doing okay in the Hex and you have away in El Salvador, you can go
get 3 points.
Go fucking play the 6. Remember how you were. We're going to go get this game. We don't have all our guys. Pulisic, maybe. We have a couple guys. Tim Weah's here. Go do a job for me. Go
be my guy.
Done.
Yep.
Yeah. And now Berhalter has a crew of his guys that are just like, they will be attached to him forever. He's got a mentality piece that can help. And to be fair, I mean, I didn't have any belief in him because of the nepotism of his commissar growth. He's Molotov at this point. He's Khrushchev. He'll stab the fucking U.S. He'll stab his brother in the back and have a coup and take over the country. Yep. I watched Death of Stalin. Really good movie. Actually, more accurate than what actually happened, which is they fucking had a coup after Stalin died. Anyway, good times. But Commissar Berhalter, I think that's a better name, did well. It. So good for him. And I think we have, like you said, we have hope, not Hoppy, but hope.
Oh, not Hoppy, not Matt Hoppy.
And then for the World Cup, right? Like it's coming soon, like
sort of. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I keep getting excited. Like during the Euro, I kept getting excited about it because I was like, it's gonna be next year. It's not really. It's the end of next year, right? Yeah. So,
but it guarantees to have a weird winner. It's not gonna be a big team. It's gonna be some weird fucking country. It's gonna be the World Cup where something weird happens because the Qataris get a hold of someone's daughter and say, we're gonna kill you if you win this tournament.
Yeah,
they're gonna pull a Khashoggi on them. Current events.
Put your name on it. Who you got? Who's your weird dark horse World Cup team?
Seeing as I picked Sweden in the final, but I got it wrong. They're in the final for the women. See, it was in the air. I had it. Yep. Let's get super weird. I wouldn't say any team that's won the World Cup can be a dark horse. So it has to be somebody weird. Let's go with our friends who played so well. An improving Damsgaard leads Denmark to the fucking final of the World Cup. Oh my
goodness, he did it, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, no way, I can't pick Denmark. I'm gonna go with Russia because they're in cahoots with Qatar.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Qatar, yeah. But the problem is they're not good. They don't.
No, but it doesn't matter. They're
not free enough to even have the creativity to have the thoughts to do it. Like if you would have said Ukraine, I'd have been like, all right, fuck it.
Well, my first thought was China, but I'm like, they're really not good. But like, we'll see.
Yeah, they're really bad. They're not ready. Or maybe maybe it's Heung-min Son leads South Korea, a historically great team in World Cup. They're famous. They had a famous win in the 50s. Maybe it's South Korea.
They beat Germany last time around.
Yeah. So maybe it's Korea doing it, or maybe it's like one of the African teams. Let's throw like Senegal into the mix. Just because, why not?
I was going to go like Chile. Chile gets back into the tournament.
No, they're out. They got nothing. They got nothing. They burnt because Bielsa killed them and ran them into the ground. And then Sampaoli did the same thing. They did win those two Copa Americas that were played in back-to-back years for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, like 2014 and 15.
Right, because it was a centenario. They just were like, let's do it again. That'd be like if they had the Gold Cup next year. Just like, we're going to do it.
They've done that too.
Of course they have.
It's ridiculous. I was looking at the years that the U.S. has won. It's like 2007, 2009. I'm like, there was one in 08 too. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. So we've got 10 days before the Premier League is back. I'm excited about it. We've got a couple of shows before then. We're going to be talking all about the different moves that are hopefully not going to be made, Harry Kane, but all of the transfers, all of the excitement, some fantasy discussion. We've got our draft coming up next week. We're excited for that.
And I've been doing previews. They'll be showing up on a daily basis.
There you go.
On the group. So check them out. I'm doing the top 10 from last season, putting in their expected goal difference rank to give a little bit of a sense of are they good, are they not good. Got a little blurb for each one. Put a little prediction in. There's typos, which would be on brand for me. So come back every day, and we'll get to number one, which of course will be City.
There's no like we'll do our predictions over the next week. I'm just gonna tell you now, if anybody in their right mind picks anybody other than Manchester City first, they should be locked up. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
with or without Grealish and Kane.
There's always shocks. There's always whatever. Last season, City won the league, and it was their worst season in like 5 years.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to talk about Manchester City anymore. Let's get out of here.
Okay. All right. That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss a show. And if you are listening on Apple, do you hear me? Hello? Please rank and subscribe.
Apple.
And rate the show because it makes a huge difference.
God, is that you?
Rankings.